Hello and welcome to your daily news and information update. Today's topic, the U.S.-China relationship. The United States is in the midst of its worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. In many ways, our economy today is worse than it was in the 1930s. Our official unemployment rate is lower than it was then, but our productive capacity in relation to the rest of the world has softened dramatically, and our economy has developed simultaneous massive budget and trade deficits. Making matters worse, our government must fund itself from overseas loans. These loans keep us technically in the black, but they come in exchange for influence on U.S. policies. In each of these areas, the United States has one major competitor, China. China is the United States' largest trading partner. It is also the nation with whom we carry our largest trade deficit. They are the nation which funds the largest amount of our government's deficit, and they are the nation which hopes to exact the most influence over our domestic affairs. Dr. Peter Morici, a professor of economics at the University of Maryland, has written many times about this subject and is now considered an authority on U.S.-China trade relations. The United States carries huge deficits on foreign purchases of oil and purchases of Chinese goods. And Morici contends that if we were to cut off one or both of these addictions, the U.S. would cut down massively on its destabilizing debt accumulation. In a paper written for the New American Foundation, Morici outlined the ways in which China has linked its economic prosperity to the U.S. China lacks much of the infrastructure and resources to simultaneously be a cheap labor market and a mass producer of finished and unfinished goods. Yet they accomplish this by subsidizing entire economic sectors, propping up balance sheets at the state's expense, and making up losses on international markets. Unfortunately for the U.S., China profits more from our economy than from all other economies of the world combined. News website FindFacts, also highlighting Morici's work, compiled two graphs which show the inverse relationship between the United States and China. The first shows the American balance of trade deficit since 1995. Our trade deficit increases dramatically, and our deficit with China in particular grows every year without fail. The second graph shows China's balance of trade surplus over the same period. The Chinese economy ran a net deficit in international trade with all countries not named the United States of America up until 2007. For over a decade, the only profit-making enterprise in China was to sell to the U.S. Since 1995, the year that China pegged its yuan to the U.S. dollar, the relationship between the two economies could not be more one-sided. From 1995 to 2008, according to Morici, the annual deficit with China grew from $34 billion to $266 billion. This accounts for nearly 90% of America's non-oil related trade deficit. The Chinese have since gained so much wealth and productive capacity from the capture of U.S. industries that they are now a competitor on the global stage. But their economy would never have been able to grow so impressively without siphoning prosperity out of the United States. On behalf of concerned citizens, I'm Craig Harrington. For more on this and other related topics, please tune in daily to economyincrisis.org.
Wake up, America! Open up your eyes! Wake up, America! Wake up!